I have Katya with me here. Katya, wait, how do you go by Katya or by Kate? How do you prefer?
Cat.
Cat.
Kakoshka.
Cat. Okay, cat. Like Koshka. Okay, cool. Okay, okay, Cat. Can you just introduce yourself and talk about yourself and feel free to say anything that you want to say that you want to share with the world, except don't say any secrets because we might put it on YouTube. So there you go.
My name is Kat. My full name is Kateryna. My favorite color is purple and lavender. And I used to live in Ukraine until I was 3. I have an annoying little brother named Lyosha, although he can be sweet sometimes, but sometimes he can be annoying. And I like to cook and I like to make bracelets in my free time.
You said you like to make bracelets.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any bracelets on you?
I sold my bracelet to my mom. I don't have any bracelets, but behind me there's a bunch of bracelet making stuff. I have like the original beads to put in the middle to make it interesting, string, and a spinner, like where you put your beads in and then it spins them for you, and then you put them on very quickly.
Cool. You said you sold it to your mom or you gave it to your mom?
I sold it for my mom for five
Sold it.
dollars.
Sold it for how much?
$5.
$5. Wow. Making a lot of money off of your parents.
The usual price for the bracelets like that is actually like $10.
Really? Okay. All right.
My
Um,
mom's
mhm. So you said you lived in Ukraine until you were 3, right?
yeah,
And how old are you now?
11.
11. So do you still remember Ukraine or not?
No, but I don't really remember. But I have a photo of me
Mm-hmm.
when we just moved in 2014.
Mm-hmm. 2014. Okay. Do you do you know what's going on in Ukraine right now?
A war.
Do you want can we talk about it? Is that okay?
I actually have a bunch of stuff based on Ukraine. I have a. I made this wreath by myself. Some of the flowers fell off. I made it by myself.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And what?
And
Wait. Talk about this. What is this? Explain.
it's a Ukrainian flag,
Uh-huh.
but
It's the
red.
colors of the flag. Gotcha.
The yellow ones are kind of starting to fall off. So I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna buy more to and keep them together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw one you could put like string ribbons of the colors in the middle, like
Mm-hmm.
like for example, but
Mm-hmm.
lower, and then hang it up in my room.
Cool. It's
And I
awesome.
have this miniature flag.
The flag, Ukrainian flag.
Yep.
Cool. But I'm more interested in like, do you have any thoughts? Do you want to say anything about it? I mean, I know you're still like a little kid, but I also know you're really smart. I know you read a lot. So it's not a really kid topic, but so you don't have to talk about it, but is there something that you want to say about what's going on? Any thoughts that you have? Any questions if you have? I don't know. Anything.
Uh, so I actually So, like a few weeks ago, I went to a soldier's house to help them. You know, like when something happens and they need to go to America for their special treatment.
Hmm.
And, like,
Like a Ukrainian soldier?
sometimes, yeah, it takes them, so, like, sometimes a little long while. So, we have a house for them where they stay in, and we clean up. There's a bunch of snacks and it's very comfortable, and I helped my mom helped clean like the couch and other stuff.
Hmm. I had no idea that there were some, soldiers, I guess, recovering, right? Recovering
Yeah.
in America. I had no idea about that.
Oh, and I once went to the soldiers, like when they come to America, me and my friends would wait outside. Like they come, most of them in wheelchairs
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes in crutches.
Mm-hmm.
We come and give them like stuff like flowers, and then we like sing Ukrainian national anthems,
Mm-hmm.
and then we leave.
Mm-hmm. And you said you what?
Um, so we give them their flowers
Uh-huh.
and a welcome to
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine. I don't know, but I think the like there was something. I think like the website is called Kind Deeds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Cool. This is so awesome that you're doing that. What else? Anything else you want to tell me?
Mm,
You
well,
follow?
that's
Do you follow the news at all, or do you have any people in Ukraine that you talk to, and you see how they are?
my grandma and grandpa, my other grandma and grandpa, my aunt and uncle, my other uncle, my cousins, and that's all the family I have left.
Mm-hmm. And they're there. Your
Yeah,
uncles.
every single one of my family members except for me, my brother, and my mom,
Uh-huh.
and my
What city are they in?
uh, they're around Dnipropetrovsky.
Dnipropetrovsk.
Yeah.
And how's it there now?
Uh, I don't know. Last time I visited was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was very fun. My grandma had a cute cat, but unfortunately he got very sick, and when they took him to the vets, he escaped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So I have a question for you. So I know um this is so cool that you know about what's going on in Ukraine and how hard it is for people there. So how do you feel your life is? Do you feel like you're, sort of lucky or privileged that you live here, your parents made this move to move here, um, and you have a house and everything is safe? What do you think?
I think I am actually pretty lucky to stay here
Mm-hmm.
because in Ukraine, a lot of stuff is very different here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the houses are way bigger.
Oh, in
The
Ukraine
house
or here?
here it's
Okay.
bigger, but I don't know why. I kind of miss the stores being
Uh-huh.
in Ukrainian language, and
Uh-huh.
every time I see an ad based on that language, it really reminds me of Ukraine.
Uh-huh. Do you speak a little bit?
Mm, I don't really speak because last time I visited, it was way before the war. They still were speaking Russian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I was asking you if you feel lucky or you feel privileged, I have actually a reason why I'm asking you, because since you're my judo student and I've known you for a while, sometimes like I noticed, and you know this, it's not a secret for you, that you are a little spoiled. Would you agree with that statement?
A little.
So like for example, the other day, like I forgot what it was, but like you were begging your dad for something, and he said, "No, we cannot have this right now." And you were like klянчить. How do you say klянчить in English? You were like,
I don't know.
you were like, please, 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 and then dad is like, no, cat, and you're like, please, 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 and I don't know. And do you sometimes cry when you don't get what you want?
Mm, if it's really important to me.
If it's really important, like what, for example?
Pizza.
Pizza. So I want to ask you something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not like a psychologist. I don't know if I should ask this. But let me ask you something. Do you feel like sometimes do you think about it like these people like that in Ukraine, they're going through such a difficult time, and here you go, you're like so lucky, you have this house and everything is so cool, and then you cry or beg for some silly stuff like ice cream. How does that? What do you think that is? Is that something that you're like about yourself?
No,
Are you gonna try to work on that?
maybe.
Well, I mean, can you talk about this? I mean, I'm not like, it's okay. It's okay. You can argue. You can say, you can disagree with me. I'm just asking. I'm not like preaching. I'm just speaking my mind.
I don't know, because sometimes like stuff happen and they're pretty unfair. Like one time when during judo, my brother went to the pizzeria and I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And my brother can be very spoiled because he complains, I want to choose the TV. But when I was his age, I started watching Netflix, and before that, I only watched the Disney and Nickelodeon channel.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I remind him that I did not have the choice to choose what I want,
Mm-hmm.
I had to watch whatever it gave me.
Gotcha. So you both seem a little spoiled. It's not uncommon for an older sibling to say like a younger sibling is spoiled. My kids do that all the time. The older kids always think the younger kids are more spoiled. Maybe they are.
Mm,
But we also established that sometimes you instigate. Do you remember I told you that you instigate, and I said, do you know what that word means?
no,
No. Do you remember I asked you that and you said no, and I explained it to you?
I don't remember.
You forgot. Oh my God. So you don't know what instigate means. It means that
No.
sometimes you provoke, right? And you said, oh yeah, that's true. Sometimes I provoke my little spoiled brother.
Oh, now I remember.
Yeah? So is that true?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about judo. Okay? Can you just talk to me about judo? Tell me whatever you want.
In judo, I personally prefer Niwaza Randori because when you're standing up, I feel like you're a little bit less stable. But I feel like when sitting down, you're a bit more stable because
Mm-hmm.
you do a lot of counters in Niwaza without having to stand up right before you're about to do a hold.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I'm more interested in just like in general. Like why do you like or you don't like judo? Uh what 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 does judo give you? Does it give you something? Why is it valuable to you? What kind of values does it teach us? Stuff like that. Like more general stuff.
Hmm. I think it gives me like an opportunity to actually like do something because sometimes I get really bored and just do nothing. But always, as usual, like something interesting happens right before I have to go somewhere. And I try to remember what it is so I have something to do after I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with show or anything else.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? So what do you mean by that? Explain. Like for example.
So have you ever went to your friend's house and then let's say you guys can't think of a game, but right before you're about to leave you think of like the greatest game you have
Mm-hmm.
thought for like a week, but then you have to go, but at least then you remember it
Mm-hmm.
and can plan for the next time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you mean like just when if I understand you correctly, saying sometimes you have to go to judo when you were like about to play with your friends. Is that what you said? Or did I misunderstand?
No, no, it's mostly when I find something interesting to do, I have to leave for judo.
Yeah, that's I think I got that. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. But what kind of so all right, let's real quick. So what kind of values I want to see if you remember if I know you say this in class a lot, but I want to say if you see if you what how much can you remember now? Like what is judo all about? What does judo mean? And what does it teach us?
Judo means gentle way, and in my opinion, I think it's the more gentle way to defend yourself from people who can harm you.
Hmm. Do you feel like you can defend yourself better since you started judo or not?
Uh, mm, I don't know because before I still would have done the same thing. If
Hmm.
a male person was trying to kidnap him, I would still hit him in his private part.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. That's a good strategy. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, I'm thinking. I have a lot to say about this, but I'm not gonna say about it for now. Uh, okay. So real quick. So what kind of values does judo teach us?
it teaches to be like, you know, if you have a sibling, you could like find a gentle way to agree with them without
Okay.
hurting them or you, or like without getting hurt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so let's say you really want to hit your sibling, but you know you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like judo, there's really no rule about you can't throw your sibling and
Mm-hmm.
then keep hold, because then you guys wouldn't be hurting, because probably your sibling would want to do the same thing to you, and you guys would start a judo fight, which will be less painful than
Mm-hmm.
an actual fight.
That's a very good point. And actually, I do wanna mention something about you said before. Like you said, if you were to get kidnapped, you would kick the man in his private parts. But what I want to say about that is that, do you think how likely is it that you're going to get kidnapped? Is it a very likely or may probably not?
I'm definitely lower than my brother. Yeah, he always has to run ahead,
Hmm.
get away from my parents. But the chances for me is like 25%, and Yosha's like
Okay.
a,
So I'm
a
gonna tell.
third.
So I'm gonna tell you something. Okay. I know you know a lot, but I'm gonna share some information with you. The chances that you get kidnapped are very, 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 very small. It's like one. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but maybe it's like 1 in 1,000. Let's just say 1 in 1,000. But the chances for you, let's say in school, for somebody to be mean to you, I don't think there's a big chance either, because most people that I meet are nice people, but there's a bigger chance. And now, so
Yes.
that's a more, so let me finish and ask you a question. So I think that's a more realistic scenario. So do you feel like, and you mentioned something about your brother, like if you have to fight your brother, judo gives you a better way to fight because you don't want to kick your brother, right? And I think, tell me if you agree with me, like if somebody were to give you trouble like in school or on the playground, wouldn't you think judo is a better way to defend yourself? Because if you kick somebody, that's kind of like escalating the violence. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't think you should do judo in school,
You should do
because
what?
I don't think you should do judo in school, because judo is not really a very popular sport, and a lot of people like don't really know it.
Hmm.
Like, so if they when you throw, they won't be expecting it
Oh, I
and
see.
hurt themselves. Like they didn't know like to like keep like try to
How to
avoid
fall.
like that, like how to fall, and they could actually get hurt.
That's a very
And
good point. That's a very good point, Katya, and I'm very glad that you brought it up. I haven't thought about this actually, but this is a good point. But I think as a good judoka, you should try, and I always say this, I say this to adults a lot. It's not about how well you throw, so how you win, I mean. It's not about how you win, but how gentle you are. Because in judo, we try to protect each other, you know? So if you go to like now you're like yellow belt, right? So from yellow belt to orange belt, it's not like about winning more. it's about being able to protect more. So that even if you have to have the situation with somebody who doesn't know judo, you can still throw them and you can still protect them. That would be so awesome. Like you have somebody who is like aggressive, like your enemy, like mean person, and not only you throw them, but you actually protect them. Isn't that cool?
Actually, if somebody was really mean to them, I would draw a picture of them and do whatever I want to do with it.
Nice, nice.
Because then I can't hurt them and I won't get in trouble because I could always throw it out in the trash. Like I think the person is supposed to stay there. And I won't get punished. Because there's
Mm.
nothing wrong with ruining your own drawing. You draw it, so you could ruin it.
Uh-huh. That's awesome, Katya. You always give me this surprising things. Like you surprise me by what you say, And I kind of learn from you, believe it or not. Like I would never think about stuff like that because I'm not very artistic.
You could just draw a stick man and like try to copy their
Well,
hair.
the problem
Or
with this, the problem with that is that the person, if I drew a person, that person would not be able to recognize themselves. So, like, what's the point of me drawing them if they can't recognize themselves?
because they will never come to your house since you hate them so much. And they don't have to see it. And you know who it is. So you know what.
Oh, I see. That's awesome. That's cool. So but let me ask you, can you draw a person like realistically? Like, could you draw me and I would be able to see that it's me?
I can try.
Could you try that for the next time I see you? Can you have that ready?
I don't know about having it ready, but I think I could try.
Uh-huh.
Because sometimes art can take a really long time.
Uh-huh.
Because it depends. Because most of the time, I have to draw from my memory. And I've drawn people a lot from my memory, but sometimes it's not really that accurate because I don't remember it fully. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, for example, their hair is long and they have brown eyes, but for example, I don't know like if they have wavy hair or
Mm-hmm.
like straight hair or whatever outfit they really like.
Well, guess what? I can put this interview on YouTube and then you can see the video and then you can draw me from the video. But make me a little more good looking.
I just realized people in movies never change their clothes.
Is that so?
If you watch a series, they never ever change their clothes.
I didn't pay attention. I don't watch TV.
I do.
I
Like
think you.
they just go with the same red shirt for like
Mhm.
2 weeks and then wear like a blue shirt for like 1 minute and then go back to their red shirt.
See, I don't pay attention to those details. I'm not really good with details. Some people are good with it, but not me. Let me ask you something else. You speak about movies, but and I was gonna say, I think you should spend less time with the phone and with the TV and with all that stuff. But you already know that. But let me ask you. I also know that you like to read, which is I really love that about you.
This is all my library checks.
But can you just tell me what your favorite book is, or what your, any, or what the latest book that you read?
Well,
Tell me about your favorite one. Don't read it. Just say it from your memory. What's stuck in your mind?
mm, there's this series I really like, but unfortunately, like the less popular series, the author, if like your series isn't really that popular, you wouldn't write much about it. But this, like the author of this book, I don't know, because like it's not really that popular. For example, like Wings of Fire, and like the author of Wings on Fire would make more of that book because the rest of their books isn't really that popular. But this series isn't really popular, so there's a higher chance the author writes a different book instead of this book.
Mm-hmm.
But the name of the series is called Whatever After, and I don't know which one my favorite would be, but I don't think it's the first one because it's really confusing and weird. But it's basically about a girl and her brother. They have a magic mirror in their basement, and they can go into fairy tales using it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really like the first one. They even in the first one, I'm pretty sure they land in Snow White. Second one in Cinderella. Third one into The Little Mermaid. Fourth one into Sleeping Beauty. Fifth one into Rapunzel. Sixth one into The Snow Queen. Seventh one in Beauty and the Beast. Eighth one in The Princess and the Frog. Ninth one in Aladdin. 10th one in I don't remember the 10th one. Oh wait, it's in Hansel and Gretel. The 11th one is in Princess and the Pea. 12th one is in Little Red Riding Hood. The 13th is in Jack and the Beanstalk. 14th is in the Goldilocks and the Three Bear, and the 4th one is in the 12th Dancing Princesses.
All
And
right.
I think that's all for the last time I checked.
So you can, I think you told me once, like you can read a book like in like one day. Is that true?
Uh, Depends. Well, a lot of people, when they're reading Harry Potter, it takes them like maybe a few days
Mm-hmm.
because the book is really long. They're like this thick.
Mm-hmm.
But but for me, it only took me 3 days to read the third book. I don't remember the first and second book since it was so long ago, but the first one was the longest because I wasn't really interested in Harry Potter when I first got it.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one took about 3.5 days,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't read the fifth one, but I watched it,
You know,
and
this is
I
so cool that sorry to interrupt you. I just want to say that, you clearly read more than me because I don't have time to read and I read very slow. I like to read, but lately I haven't had a lot of time to read, unfortunately. And also, I'm the kind of person like sometimes like when I have to read like some kind of instructions, like it's really hard for me. I don't like reading instructions. But I remember one time you were playing you were over at our house and we were playing some kind of card game and we started explaining the instructions and you like just let me read it and you just read it and you got it like right away and I was like so impressed by that. Like it's like I could never do that in my life. And
sometimes I
that's when I knew you were a good reader.
have to. Sometimes I mostly take the main points.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, a few days ago, I learned how to play a card game, by just watching people. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
explained it. I just watched like like four different people play 3 times, like
Mm-hmm.
in Judo, and I just played.
Mm-hmm.
And I played actually really well.
Mm-hmm. Impressive, impressive. Let me ask you, I kept you here for like half an hour already, and I think it's a very long time for such a young person. But let me ask you before we go, I just thought of one more thing. Remember the time when you went to a couple of tournaments in judo, right? Can you just talk about that experience a little bit? How was
Uh,
it going to tournaments?
well, the first one actually was really great for me because I didn't lose, but the second one I lost, and that was really hard for me to accept. But eventually I got used to the feeling, I don't know. Was it the third one? I think it was the third one. That was
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to go back there ever again.
Mm.
And I'm only going to, I decided to only go to one type of tournament, which I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
Although
But
sometimes
I
it's
thought,
annoying.
wait a second, but I thought it's the opposite. I thought it's the other way around. Because like when you win, like, okay, you might not have learned something, but if you lost, like you probably learned much more. So wouldn't that be better to lose? Because if you win, it means you went against easy people. So all right, so big deal. But if you lost, it probably means you went against really advanced people, which you did. I remember you went against like higher belts, so you learned more. So wouldn't that be better? Why are you saying that? You got it all backwards, I
I know, it's just for me. I don't really like losing.
think.
I don't really, because like sometimes on tournaments, like I explain it to my friends, and it's kind of hard for you to explain
Hmm.
that you lost. Like
Hmm.
even more harder if you were actually going against someone who you actually beat before.
Hmm.
It was, in your friend's opinion, was pretty easy,
Hmm.
and then you would tell them how you lost, and then they would make like these, like, for example, like, couldn't you have instead of throwing her that throw, why
Hmm.
didn't you count her throw?
Hmm.
And sometimes actually the referees get it wrong, because once I was rewatching a footage of me fighting where I tried to throw, but it was happened so quick because like the other person, they I forgot how to say the word, like, they
Counter.
count,
Hmm.
and they eventually got me into a hold,
Hmm.
which the ref thought was their throw.
Hmm.
Uh,
You know what I remember from that tournament is that when you lost like a couple matches, you were like in bad shape emotionally. Do you remember? You were like, no. You had a little drama there, and you said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I cannot do it. And I think me and your dad, we were like, come on, do it. Let's go. You can do it. And I'm so glad that we convinced you to do it because it's so nice to see you be able to overcome something. Do you feel proud of yourself that you actually made it? Like you actually did it in spite of your feeling so bad?
um, Not really, because I still lost most of the rounds.
That's not true. I remember that when you,
I
uh,
won.
I remember
I
that
won.
you after you lost, like I think you won and you lost, and then you said, I don't want to come out anymore. I don't want to fight anymore, and we convinced you. And after that, yes, you did lose one, but you also won one. Isn't that true?
I think I've only won 2 out of my 8 matches, and
Okay.
I was really upset because I told my dad that I don't want to fight for 2 divisions.
Ah. Wow, listen, you fought 8 matches. You should be proud of yourself. That's a victory right there. So, how many people, ask people, who can fight 8 matches in one day? Not many people.
Not
Anybody,
many.
anybody, or anybody who knows anything about judo, they know this is very hard. And that's deserves a lot of respect. And especially because they were such hard matches that you fought against stronger people.
Mm,
And the thing is, like in judo, like you naturally so good, um, and you can win a lot of people that are about your rank. Uh, but I think actually it's not. Maybe it's not so good because then you kind of like think that you don't need to train. But then you went to the tournament and then you lost a little bit, and then you said maybe you said to yourself, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought, so now I have to train. So maybe that was good.
uh, I don't really think, like, talk to myself much,
Hmm.
except someone makes me really mad. because then basically I copy them in this voice that makes you so very very dumb, and I would just do that and draw their picture, and then my
Yes.
favorite part was making them bald.
Making the what?
I made them bald.
Bald?
Yes, no hair.
All right.
Eyes.
All right, Katya. I'm gonna let you go, but before that, one last request. Can you do an imitation of your little brother? I
What?
love when you do that. The imitation of Lyosha.
No fear, it's my turn. I've only watched for 20 minutes. You've been watching for 20 hours. It's my turn. Papa! I'm dying.
That was awesome, Katya.
Usually.
Okay, Katya, that was hilarious. I think this is a good point to end this interview. Okay? Perfect. I'm gonna press this button.